Today was a big day for Ethan, who was studying in 12th class. Ethan was from a small town in Des Moines, Iowa, and for the last 2 years, he had been preparing for his engineering entrance in Chicago, away from home. Today was his entrance exam, and he was already very late because the exam center was also far away. So Ethan was riding his bike at full speed, trying to reach the center without delay. As the city disappeared behind him, the road became more and more difficult, and eerily deserted. His exam center was Roosevelt High School. As soon as Ethan saw the school building, his heart started beating fast. He looked at his wristwatch. It was already 5 minutes past the exam start time. He quickly parked his bike outside and begged the guard to let him in. But the guard just smiled and let him in easily. When Ethan looked at his face while going inside, there was a strange glow in the guard's eyes, as if someone had come there after many years. Everything seemed normal in the school hall. There was a long corridor and classrooms with open doors. Students were already seated and had started writing their exam. Ethan also ran to his exam hall. As soon as the paper was distributed, he quickly started writing his answers. For the first 30 minutes, everything was absolutely normal. Ethan stayed calm and focused hard on writing his answers. Till now, he had written 4 answers. The time on the watch was 10:35. As soon as he started writing the 5th answer, his eyes fell on the teacher standing in front of him. He suddenly got nervous, because the teacher was staring at him in a very strange way. But Ethan ignored her, and continued writing on his exam paper. But then he noticed something very strange. The answer to the 5th question, which he had just written, was not on the answer sheet. There was still only answer number 4, and nothing beyond that. Ethan couldn't understand what was happening. He looked back at the clock, and it was still showing 10:35. It was the exact same time as before, when he had finished the 4th answer. That's when Ethan started noticing, the students in the exam hall were behaving strangely. Everyone was completely silent, writing without making a sound. Then, a boy began rubbing his finger on the desk, violently. He rubbed it so hard that one of his nails came off. But he still didn't stop. Ethan was in shock. No one, not even the teacher, was reacting. Then, from one corner, he heard another disturbing sound. A girl was hitting her exam board on her head, again and again, like a mad person. Meanwhile, another boy was biting his hand with his pen. Suddenly, another girl began crying loudly, and she started chewing her hair, putting it into her mouth. Ethan screamed for the teacher, but the teacher just stood there and smiled in a very strange way. He had no idea what was going on in the exam hall. Then, smoke started rising from somewhere in the room. A horrible smell, like rotting flesh, filled the air. When Ethan looked toward the smoke, he saw a girl's shirt was burning. Soon, a boy started screaming and scratching his body like a maniac, as if he was on fire. He shouted, "Let me out of here." Then Ethan saw the girl sitting right in front of him. Her hands were turning red, blood red, as if someone had poured acid on them. The teacher, who had seemed normal just moments ago, suddenly yelled at everyone to stay quiet. Then her eyes turned, completely white. She began tearing her own mouth open with her hands, ripping off her burning skin, layer by layer. Ethan stood there, numb with fear. Within seconds, the teacher's face was completely burned. The bones on her face were visible. In no time, all the students caught fire. Their screams filled the room. Their bodies burned into ashes. The exam hall was now filled with smoke and the horrifying stench of burning flesh. Ethan started crying. He just wanted to escape. But when he tried to run, someone grabbed his leg. He looked down. The charred, half-burnt bodies of those students were lying on the ground, and one of them had grabbed Ethan's leg. Ethan gathered every bit of courage he had, broke free, and ran out of that room in a daze. As soon as he stepped out, boom, he felt as if a bomb had exploded behind him. Some time later, Ethan was found unconscious, lying beside a male teacher near a closed classroom. He was rushed to the school's medical room. He woke up soon, and told the teacher everything that had happened. But the teacher didn't believe him. He said, "Ethan, you never even entered your exam room." And the room Ethan had described, "That classroom has been locked for years," the teacher said. Ethan didn't believe it. So he left the medical room and went straight to that classroom. And what he saw shook him to the core. The room was indeed locked, sealed shut. Ethan thought maybe he had seen a bad dream. As he walked out of the school guard said something that gave Ethan goosebumps. He told him, "A few years ago, an exam was going on in that classroom, but a boy wanted to cancel the exam. He sneaked in, and burst firecrackers inside. The curtains caught fire, and the blaze spread instantly. The entire classroom burned to ashes. At exactly 10:30 p.m., 40 students and a teacher died that night. And since then, people have seen their spirits roaming that room. That's why it's been sealed, forever." Ethan was shocked. It wasn't a dream. He had somehow escaped death. We hope nothing like this ever happens in your exams. And we pray that all your exams go well. Wish you all the very best. And for such heart-wrenching stories, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.